like every founder, I think you think it's going to be super easy. Well, not super easy, but you never realize how hard. I thought, right, you're in banking, tap into that network, you'll be turning them away.
Ash, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're going to talk about your company, DoubleTap.
Yeah.
Right? But tell us a little bit about your background first before, because you worked in Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, exactly. So I joined Goldman Sachs. I did an internship in my third year at university. Then I joined them straight out of university, and I did 4 years there. I worked as an equity trader for most of it.
Nice.
Fantastic time, great company.
So you didn't need funding, you saved up an absolute fortune yourself.
Oh wow, well I wish. Everyone seems to think that, but there used to be an extra zero on everybody's salaries back in the day. Sadly,
Yeah.
the times have somewhat changed, So funding was required, but at least I've got a half decent network to tap
At least
into.
you know what you're talking about now.
Yeah,
Well,
well, you hope so, right?
tell us about DoubleTap. How you came up with the idea, and just explain to our audience exactly what it does.
Yeah. So DoubleTap it's a platform which allows businesses to reward their customers in exchange for them posting about them on social media. How the product kind of came about was I would always tell people about a particular brunch spot or something that I was
Gotcha.
always going to down in Brixton, and I was just taken aback all the time by people didn't know, they hadn't been there. They're even Brixton locals, and they were like, I've never heard of it before. I was like, how is this possible? It's like one of the best brunch spots. It's super cool. It's fantastic. Why have people not heard of it? And it kind of just made me think, and I was like, well, how did I hear about it? And I suddenly realised, okay, I just saw it regularly popping up on a few friends' Instagram feeds and stuff like that. And I was like, the food looks amazing. I've got to go check it out. And then once my mind was sort of open to that thought process, I was like, Jesus, think about everything else that you're doing, your behaviours, your purchasing decisions, and all of that are driven purely off of things I see on Instagram. My last 2 pairs of trainers, Instagram, friends,
Just
right?
seeing them on a friends.
Seeing them on a friends, not on influencers, seeing them on a friends. And I was kind of taken aback by that, and I started thinking, okay, well, is there something that could be solved in this? Maybe there must be a product or something that offers this to people. And then you got chatting to some smaller local business owners and just asking them a little bit about their problems and how they market. And how
Marketing is normally quite expensive for them.
marketing
nowadays,
is, they don't have an allocated budget, right? A lot of the time they know, okay, social media is free to have an account, we need to work on that.
And
then
they try to do it themselves.
They try and do it organically.
Yeah.
Then they'll try and get somebody who they pay and they'll do some posts. But as you know, probably with the changes in the Instagram algorithm, it's so hard now to grow organically.
Yeah.
They prioritize interests now, and if you think about it, when was the last time you sat and scrolled through a bar's Instagram page and just liked stuff?
I know.
You didn't, right?
Because you always feel that if you're, depending on the company that you're following, but they're always trying to sell to you, which they are trying to do.
Exactly. They're always trying to sell to you. A lot of the bars, I think, go about it the wrong way because they're just plastering offers and offers and offers. And sometimes, yes, they're enticing, but because the content's not exciting, you don't engage with it. And if you don't engage with it, then people don't see it going forward, and you're kind of in this Instagram dead zone,
Yeah. So how does yours work? Because I was looking at the app. So I say as the user,
Yes.
right? Because you team up with obviously the business, and you team up with the user as well. So me as a user, I download the app, right? And I go onto it and I'd see an offer, or say, I don't want to mention names, but let's just say I see a coffee shop, right? And I go, I actually drink there at the odd time. So I'll go in there, I'll have my coffee, and I'll go, right, okay, I check on it, and I see what their requirements are, which might be use their hashtag, tag them in it as well, take a certain type of photo, and then post it on Instagram. And if I get a certain amount of likes, is it always likes or is it engagement?
It is always likes at the moment. Likes just is a really nice, easy, crude gauge for us to measure engagement, shall we say. Were we to move to sort of like a more sort of, should we say, coin-based system where you kind of built up, we could do it more on comments and all kinds of engagement. But at the moment, it's just, like you said, a very simple, you will get 2 free cocktails if you post, tag, hashtag, and get 50 likes or more or something, for example.
And how does it work with the company? Because obviously, like me as the individual, I go, oh, right, great, I'll get a free coffee at the end of the week, or I get whatever day it might be. With the customer, what way does it work with them? Do they have to pay, obviously, DoubleTap to use?
Exactly, it's a subscription service. So the base package starts at around £50 a month. That entitles you to give away, say, 20 rewards on the platform per month. And you can kind of have numerous rewards going at any one time, because obviously everybody has different levels of engagement. Now, I'm not saying we want to rule out influencers, but true influencers and even micro influencers nowadays are probably looking cash is king, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there is this huge demographic of normal people who have fantastic, even better levels of engagement, right?
Yeah.
And they're localized, which is the most important thing for a lot of small, medium-sized businesses like bars and restaurants. So from that perspective, this is just an easy way for kind of businesses to engage their customer base and start activating them and get the marketing for them, really.
And it's great for a consumer as well, because as I said, if I'm always going down to the coffee shop and I can get a free coffee at the end of the day, or even daily, could be daily. Can you do it?
It could be daily. So there's loads of kind of parameters that we put into the platform and allow the flexibility. So like you said, it could be daily, but some bars and stuff, don't necessarily want to be giving potentially away 2 free cocktails here all the time, right? Especially as you could start racking them up and have a night out pretty much free, right?
Yeah.
The idea is that loyalty piece is a nice hook. And that's the great thing. I've always asked for freebies on the platform,
right? Because
it's very unusual with a rewards platform that you can give anything for free because it gets abused. But you can give something free here because you are getting something back for it, right? At the bare minimum, you're getting some great exposure, and that's what you're paying in a cocktail for, right? But simply put, what happens is in people's mentality, right? One, if I have a freebie waiting for me as opposed to a 20% discount, I tell you what, if that's expiring at the end of the month, I'm getting the free bottle of wine, the 20% discount, I might let that go.
Yeah.
Right? So that is why the hook works so great to get you back in. And then the other thing is, well, once you've had your bottle of wine, that was free. Okay, we may as well have a couple of espresso martinis, we may as well have this, it's just how it works. And so our average spend on returning users is averaging around £22.50, and that's across coffee shops to bars.
It's quite cool, because I know that there's a lot of people on Instagram that are trying to still figure out how they can monetize their network, or how they can really engage with their network or get something back on their network. So with this, where did the whole, I know you were telling me where the idea came from. I was going to say, where did the money come from? Because obviously you needed money to start, right?
Yeah.
And I had read that you had raised, am I right by saying, roughly 100,000?
Yeah, just under, just shy.
Was that all from friends and family?
Friends and family, yeah,
difficult
exactly.
to raise, or?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's one of the things that I've underestimated stuff at every turn. Like every founder, I think you think it's going to be super easy. Well, not super easy, but you never realize how hard. I thought, right, you're in banking, tap into that network, you'll be turning them away, right? But
especially looking for 100,000,
but not actually the case, and you had to graft for $5,000 tickets here and there, right?
How long did it take you to close it?
2.5.
Oh, sorry. How did you start it, or was it an idea when you were raising?
So I had a very basic MVP at that point, and I had kind of, to say trialed, not even a pilot, but literally given it into the hands of a couple of small businesses and tried to get them to push it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the stage we were at that point. What I then realized is I need to go to, I couldn't go London or something like that. I need to actually launch it in a particular city where I can acquire users, because you just can't rely on the bars and restaurants to push this thing for it, right? So that was the point I was at raising. So I really kind of needed people to, just kind of get behind me because they know me, they'd worked with me in the past and they back me. But also kind of like, typical sell the dream, right?
Yeah.
Sell the dream before you had traction. Just luckily, it is quite a simple concept to get people's head round, right?
Yeah,
which
of course,
has been good.
Well, okay, here's one for you, because I know there's a lot of our audience that are watching this, and you're not. Are you a techie guy?
No,
you're not. Okay,
no.
because there's a lot of our audience that are watching that have an idea, right? Like you had, and it's something where it might be around an app or whatever, but they know they're not quite technical. Was it difficult for you to get into that market? Like, how did you develop the app? Did you have to outsource it? Do you know someone?
Two things I'd probably flag there is, firstly, you shouldn't even put a line of code down before you've somehow, proved the concept in a way, right? And I realized that I was kind of, 40 grand deep of my own money into a MVP before I really knew if this was anything someone would even do. Would people post for this? How would it work? And if you think about it, if you take the lean startup model, I hate to say it because everyone throws it around all the time, but if you take that model, I should have gone into a coffee shop. I should have said, look, guys, can I take over your Instagram account for a bit? Can I sit in here? Can I talk to customers? Can I say, would you post for a free coffee? And would you be happy with that post to give away a free coffee? And done that sort of thing before I'd touched it, right? And then I think when you go, okay, right, this is something I want to move forward with, how do I get development and stuff like that? people tell you must have a CTO, there must be, you'll never get funding, you'll never get this or whatever it is. And I think that's a little bit over-egged, to be honest with you. You just have to do your due diligence, right? Because I know a lot of people have gone offshore, spent 50 grand and had to get everything redone, revamped. My due diligence was I just basically signed NDAs, spoke to the idea with 25 different firms across different price range, different geographies, quantified everything I felt about them, how they understood the product, how comfortable I felt talking to them, and then whoever got the best score at the end, I went with them. And it turned out to be the best decision I've made so far.
Well, before we end, quickly, what way would have changed the business? If you could have turned back time, right, and you'd have done those changes you made, where do you think that would have changed the business for you, though?
I actually think I've been really lucky, and I think it would have been largely the same process, to be honest with you. But that was purely by luck, not judgment. I really should have just done my due diligence and actually just talked to people and talked to your customers before you actually even did anything. I think the Mum's Test is a great book for that.
Brilliant. Well, look, Ash, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anyone watching, if you do have Instagram, which we know you do, download the app, give it a go, get your free coffee.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mark.